Hi, it's Richard again. Um, we're just going to take a look at something else fun we have in the store. So, like I've told you in the past, we like things that are historical or educational. And so, and I've gone all out to make it possible. In fact, I've obtained several $100 billion. So, you don't believe me? Well, there's $10 billion right there. Okay, let's see what else we got. Here's a billion dinar, and look, there's $500 million. So what's all this? Well, probably most people know some countries have tried to solve their financial problems by printing money. So one of the most famous is Zimbabwe. So it started actually in the 90s. They needed some money bad to pay some former soldiers, and so they didn't have the money, so they said, well, let's just print the money. And it was maybe 5% of their economy. It doesn't sound too bad, but as soon as they did it, there was massive inflation. And then they had a similar problem, did it again. Well, they really did it in 2006 through 2008. They started, at first they were printing millions of dollars, and so everyone was a millionaire. And then they started printing billions, and then they started printing trillions. And so eventually their economy completely collapsed. It was just a terrible thing, which means all of the people who had saved money in their country lost all the value of the money they had. It was a terrible thing for the country. And we buy a lot of minerals from Zimbabwe. And I remember during that period, you couldn't buy minerals from Zimbabwe because their economy had failed. So these poor people that were actually making a bit of money, getting Shashay River agates or digging emeralds, those are the kind of things we have here, but they couldn't sell them because there was no economy. And so people were starving. It was total chaos and misery. So they've made a bit of a comeback. Today, Zimbabwe, if you go to Zimbabwe, you spend euros and dollars, US dollars. They don't have their own currency. They got rid of it. And so they really have solved that problem. And I think they're on the path to return. But it's interesting, these bills. Here's our $10 billion bill. And I've got 50 billion. I've even got a trillion. Because they tell you something about the world. And so today, $10 billion Zimbabwe is not, you can't convert it into any other currency. It's just a souvenir. It's just something interesting. Now, you can put it in your wallet and you can tell your friends you have $10 billion in your wallet and make them a bet. You don't have to say it's Zimbabwe. What you say is 10 billion Zimbabwe dollars. Or you don't even have to say Zimbabwe. So anyway, we've got these. They're souvenirs, but it's real currency. It's a real piece of history about the world, and it explains something about economics. So stop by, check out all our different interesting bills. There's a $20 billion bill. They all sort of look the same, another 10. So we're all hearing about Venezuela in the news. There's a 500 million bolivars from Venezuela. They had, when Hugo Chavez was in power, he did something similar and wrecked the economy. Here's something kind of cool. That's the old and rare kind of $2 bill. So stop by. We got interesting things, and they're not just they're educational, they're historical, and something fun to collect.
This is real money.
These banknotes come from countries where inflation collapsed their economies, where millions and even billions couldn't buy basic food. This is history you can hold. If you'd like to own one, we have them available at Chinese Camp Store, California. Come see us.